Good evening. We are here for a late night stream. These are becoming more and more frequent, which is either a good indication or a bad indication. I don't know. Let's see. We need to let everybody know that we are live over on the Discord. All right, let's see. Discord. All right, well, the plan is tonight to actually work on polishing up and preparing my MCP server to a place where I can actually deploy it, like publish it. So I'm just going to publish it on npm as a package, and then people can run it locally if they'd like to in their MCP server or MCP client of choice. I got my testing sorted out, so if I do npm run test coverage. Hey, what's up, CJ? How are you? I got test coverage up to about 96%, which is pretty great. That's all I'm gonna do for the moment. Let's see, MPX live server coverage. There we go. So we got some good test coverage, I think. There's definitely some edge cases that don't get covered, but I'm okay with them. Like this theoretically should never happen. But I wrote it there to make TypeScript happy, but I'm not going to jump through a bunch of hoops to actually cover that with a test. So I got the testing sorted out, and I think the first thing I'm going to try to do, good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, CJ. Got any big plans for your evening? Actually, I don't know what time zone you're in, CJ, so it may not be evening for you. It could be some other time. So the thing I need to do is I need to work on the README. So obviously the README is non-existent, so I need to add some documentation here. And I actually was thinking it would be fun to try to get Copilot to do the documentation. So let's go and look at some other MCP servers. Let's look at GitHub's MCP server. So it looks like their documentation is mostly... Oh, development for this project has been moved here. Okay. So it looks like they show usage with a couple different clients. I think I'll just show usage with Claude Desktop. I don't think I need to necessarily have a build from source. I'm not going to support that. Yeah, their server's way more complex, but I do think I want a section like this that just calls out what tools are available. And maybe their inputs would be helpful. Yeah, and then I'll have a license section. I already have a license up there. Yeah, so I think I might have Copilot try to read this this write this documentation for me just as a fun thing to do. The Restroom said, "Hi, hello, The Restroom. How are you?" Nice username too. What are you doing? I am working on. Basically, I have a model context protocol server that I've been working on. If you're not familiar with what model context protocol is, I'm happy to go into that. But if you are, if you have questions about that, you can ask them. But I'm getting ready to try to get it kind of like polished up. So I just finished writing tests. I'm going to try to write a good README for it. Set up some automated GitHub workflows so that I can automate the PR process and the publishing process, and then I guess share it. I'll probably share it on LinkedIn, because that's where I think the vast majority of people who care about it will probably live. So first things first, though, let's open up this in VS Code, and let's see if we can get Copilot to write me a nice README. Oh, actually, hold on. Real quick, I gotta make a quick change to something real quick. Okay. Bring it back over here. Alright, so we're gonna try to put my prompt engineering skills to the test. Let's see, Control-Alt-B, I think. Yeah, there we go. I think I can open this in a new window now. Yeah, there we go. I think they just added this feature, so you can actually pop Copilot out into a separate window. Excuse me. Which is helpful if you're streaming vertically like I am. So let's set this over here. And I don't know, do I want to add context? Oh, look, it already adds it when I switch it to agent mode. Should I use Claude 3.7? What should I use? Oh, I need a Gemini API key for that. I do not want to spend tokens on this. So are these the only ones it gives me for free? Oh, that's cool. They support Ollama out of the box now? How do you set that up? Anywho, I'm getting distracted. Okay, so we'll just do... I don't know. Let's do Claude 3.7 and see how it goes. Unique UX. Hey, what's up, Unique UX? How are you? I've tried Google Firebase and Bolt now, and I hate them both. I saw some cool videos of the Google Firebase thing, right? Because they released a new they released some sort of vibe coding tool, right? Or is Bolt what they use? Firebase vibe coding. Yeah, Firebase Studio, I think, guess is what it was called. Maybe that's not what you're talking about, though. But if you didn't like Firebase, you should check out Supabase. And if you don't like Supabase, you should check out Convex. Actually, Convex just released a new agent vibe coding tool that looked pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet. It's called chef.convex.dev, I think. If this loads. I haven't tried this, but I really like Convex. Like, if you're looking for a service like Supabase or Firebase, I honestly think Convex is better. You are talking Firebase Studio. Okay, nice. Unique UX says Firebase is the best. So you're convinced. Okay, well, that's fine. You can definitely be a fan of Firebase. I haven't tried Firebase Studio, but interesting to hear it doesn't. So it didn't solve all your problems, Unique UX? You mean you can't rebuild like Salesforce with Firebase Studio? All right, let me try. I'm gonna try to write a good prompt here. Right? Let me try to make this a little bigger. So I'm gonna say, "Hi there." Actually, I probably shouldn't waste tokens with stuff like that, should I? this project is a model context protocol server. I've completed the implementation along with writing a good suite of tests. I'd like now to draft a comprehensive README that provides instructions on installation, usage, and the available tools. I'd like you to create the first draft for me. Can you do that? Well, let's see what happens. Unique. I just think giving the computer ultimate control isn't helpful for learning to code better. Even when I tell it to explain it step by step or walk me through it, the agent just makes bad decisions. Yeah, that's probably like, it's probably makes more sense, right? To like just have an ongoing conversation about a specific topic in something like Gemini or Claude rather than try to learn from the agent. I could see that being tough. All right, well, here it goes. It is just spitting out words. All right, let's see if any of this is accurate. A model context protocol server implementation that integrates with OnSpring's API, allowing AI assistants to access and manipulate data stored in OnSpring instances. Okay, that's accurate. This server provides a bridge between AI assistants like OpenAI's ChatGPT or Microsoft's Copilot. I don't know if that's an accurate statement. Does Copilot have a MCP client? Copilot MCP. You know what's kind of interesting there? I don't know, this may be me just reading too much into the thing, but it's really interesting to me that it specifically referenced OpenAI and Microsoft, and it did not reference Anthropic. nor did it reference Gemini, right? That's kind of interesting. It didn't talk about Cursor either, right? So, that's kind of interesting. Maybe it's not intentional, but who knows? All right. I'm going to take that part out because I don't actually know if Copilot has an MCP. I don't think Copilot has a desktop client, does it? Copilot desktop app? Yeah. I'm just going to take that part out. The agents are designed to replace developers, but they can't even assist them. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a really catch-22 it's a really catch-22 situation, right? It's like the agents can be very helpful, but then after, like, the one time I used Copilot in agent mode here in VS Code to do an actual coding task, I just got to a point where, like, it couldn't unstick itself, right? And then once I was in that situation, then I had to go and like read the code it generated to figure out what it was trying to do so I could unwind it and fix it, which didn't feel very helpful. But I mean, this feels helpful right here. I mean, so far, I don't know how good it is. Like, I haven't gone through all of it, but All these AIs definitely promote themselves nonstop. I wonder if that's in their training data. Always self-promote. Okay, retrieving lists of apps or fields, yes, that does do that. Fetching records from apps, it does do that. Running queries against apps does do that. It does access report data. It does not let you download files stored in OnSpring. It doesn't download them. Retrieve files from attachment fields is what it lets you do. Okay, it didn't write any installation instructions. Oh, no, yeah, it did. Okay, these are just subheadings. So I need Node.js, an OnSpring instance, an API key with appropriate permissions. This is all accurate. I actually don't know what version, so I'm just going to say Node.js for the moment. Let's see, install the package globally, or use it directly. Yes. Or you could build from source. You could do that. Is that accurate though? Do I have a... Okay. So you could do that. Okay, usage. Starting the server. The server requires environment variables to connect to your OnSpring instance. Create a .env file in your working directory. The port, this is hallucinated. There's no need for a port. So that's a hallucination. I mean, this is a good example where I could definitely see, like you can definitely see like this is super helpful, right? This takes you from zero to 1, but you're still gonna have to review it, right? You're still gonna have to double check it. Does save you a lot of typing though. Darshan, which extension? What do you mean which extension? This is just VS Code. Is what I'm in at the moment. See, once the server is running, you can connect an MC compatible AI tool to it, providing the server URL. For example, OpenAI's ChatGPT. Choose a ChatGPT that supports MCP or create a custom GPT. Set the server URL. Begin interacting with your... This is not right. This is not a thing. Well, does ChatGPT have a desktop app? Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, this isn't the right way to think about the usage. Because you're not going to start the server. You're going to connect the server. You're going to wire the server up into the client. And the client pretty much is going to take care of the server, I think, in most cases. Don't need the port. That's a lie. Oh, this is really nice. Okay, this is probably the most valuable thing it did. Was it obviously kind of saw the tools I have in my tool.ts file, and then it just very helpfully wrote the name and the parameters. So that's a super big time saver. I probably need to verify though that it got all the right parameters. Oh gosh, what did I just do? I don't really care about development. I don't expect anybody to do development stuff, honestly. Testing, that's fine. I don't think that's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, I think that's a pretty... I'm going to keep this. Because I think that's a really good start. There's some things I need to... There's some things I need to clean up. I think this section can be removed. And I think I can just... I can say the server requires that the following environment variables are set. Like that. And then I will move this up here. And I'll take this out. This is the not fun part of projects, right? When you have to do the documentation. Unique UX. I think we need a diagram. Percy Jackson, what are you working on? Sorry, just joined. Oh, no worries, Percy Jackson. Also, nice username, by the way. My oldest son's a huge Percy Jackson fan. Unique UX. Refining and curating will become a more important skill in the future than design or development. I don't know how I feel about that. I guess I see what you're saying. I guess I also think designing and development is always valuable. I think what those tasks look like is probably going to just change, right? More and more over the years. What's up, Toad Sage? How are you? Yep, an MCP server. Percy, so this is what we're building, Percy. Let me find my little diagram here. This is what... Oh, where's my hand at? There we go. See if I can bring this over here. This is what we're building. So we're building one of these. Oops, didn't mean to do that. We're building one of these. And specifically, we're building an MCP server or a model context protocol server that talks to a third-party API for a piece of software called OnSpring. So the overall idea here is that once I have this MCP server published, people can then leverage it in Claude Desktop or Cursor or VS Code or basically any MCP client, right? So it's kind of it's like a way to give arms and legs to LLMs, but that's kind of reusable, right? So if you're familiar with things like Anthropic or OpenAI, where they have this idea of function calling or tool calling, it's kind of like building tool calling or function calling, but doing it in sort of a more agnostic way, right? Because you have this shared abstraction, which is the model context protocol. If you're interested in learning more about the nitty-gritty details of it, modelcontextprotocol.io is the place to go. Hey, Artwork Studios, how are you doing? Fine, man. How's on your side? I'm great, man. You know, life's good, dude. No complaints. So go, fell asleep to Steven, wake up to Steven. What an amazing day. Dude, time zones are weird. That's so weird. Yeah, that's so weird. Arthur Morgan. KS OMAC? I don't know what that means, Arthur. Don't know what that means. right, I need to not procrastinate. Honestly, considering all I wrote was this, like the only thing I prompted, this was the only prompt I gave it, that was for sure worth the output I got. I'm just gonna say connecting to Claude Desktop. I think that's the name of their app, right? And then I think I'll put something like here that I'll say, in order to use the server, you will need to configure it in the MCP client of your choice. Each MCP client should provide instructions on setting up a MCP server. You will also need to make sure the required environment variables are set. See the configuration section for more detail. And then in here, I'll just put like I'll just put that. I tell you what, I don't know how I ever wrote code or edited text without Vim motions. Like, I'm sold on this keyboard navigation. I was actually in a real long meeting today where I had to navigate a Google Doc, and I was sharing my screen in front of a bunch of people, and I kept spamming Vim motions into the Google Doc. So all they saw was like JJJJJ, right? Like it looked really silly. But it's in my fingers now, and I love that. Because it used to feel so foreign. Artwork Studios. Anyways, today I'll follow a tutorial on how to make a toy OS. Well, that sounds like fun. It also sounds kind of difficult. Sogo Hotel. Crazy smart, original machine automation code. Okay. Oh, nice. I see what you did there, Sogo. Nice, dude. Toad said, Steven, would you provide me the setting.json of VS Code? Because due to some specific invim, can't fetch the standard lib in C files, so I have to use VS Code for this project. Oh, you want like my Vim things for VS Code? I can for sure send those to you. You want me to just send them in Discord? They're not very special, I don't think. Let me look. I don't think I have a ton of them. Let's see. Open user settings. I think this is all the Vim specific stuff. Is that what you're looking for? Yeah? Okay. Here, I'll send you this. What do I do? Why? I'm going to put it in the, I'm going to put this in the code channel in Discord. Let's see, upload a file. No, I don't want to upload a file. I just want to, I'm just going to put it here. Coding. like VS Code Vim things. Yeah, I just put it in the code channel. Toad says thanks, man, but yours is closed to NeoVim. Yeah, I guess that is. I'm not using NeoVim in my VS Code. I'm using the Vim plugin specific, so maybe that's not as helpful. Unique UX, no coffee, no productivity counters. This is bullshit. Oh man, I should have started that, shouldn't I? Here, hold on. Give me 1 second. Because I guess the README counts as line changed, huh? In the Git repo. All right, give me 1 sec. Hold on. It'll be up in a second. There you go. Look at me. 192 lines changed. Thank you, Copilot. Arthur Morgan, this another word you learned today. Yeah, I guess it is, Arthur. I don't understand what the hell you're saying, but yeah, I guess it's a word we learned. Artwork Studios. I love writing README. Do you really? I can put whatever I want in it. Yeah, I guess that is fun. It only starts counting once he's written one line. We're patiently waiting. You guys are trolling me. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I'm letting the AI do all the work at the moment. I really the thing I'm most nervous about is these parameters. Yeah, that's the thing I'm most nervous about, honestly. But there's no way to really know without just doing a stare and compare. And the question is, do I want to do that, or do I want to just trust the AI? I honestly think this is pretty good. Like, I don't know. I think this is as good as it needs to be to begin with. Like, nobody but myself will probably use this for a while. This shouldn't say enables AI tools. This should really say enables MCP clients. I also feel like I should link back here. Artwork Studios. I think this is good. Will this be on your blog? You think I should like write it up, Artwork Studios? Yeah, I should probably write it up. It would probably be good to at least share some of the stuff I learned, right? Some takeaways. Be good. AI has an affinity for AI. Who would have guessed? Yeah, who would have thunk it? All right, so I think the README is fine for now. Well, actually, hold on. I need to add those instructions about Claude Desktop. Let's... Claude Desktop. is, we should probably link to it. Claude desktop is a popular to connect. Follow these steps, yeah, and then we'll just provide those steps. And let's see if this is actually a valid URL. It always surprises me when the URLs are correct. Looky there. It's not correct. But I like their 404 page. Page cannot be found. Empty. Do you think this is dynamic? Let's see. Let's change it to 3. That's cool. That's a clever. That's a very clever 404 page. I kind of want to do a 404 page like that on my blog. I think that's very cool. This is my blog's 404 page. Let's see. Made up. That's this is not as clever as an LLM dynamically writing you a haiku or a poem, I mean. But that is very cool, very creative. I need to actually find the actual link. Anthropic Claude desktop. Here you go. Nope, that is not correct. What's up, Sanjay? How are you? Hockey, yo, how's the server coming on? It's coming along good. I'm in the process of putting like the finishing touches on it. I got to do the README. I got to do a GitHub workflow for PRs to like automatically run tests and stuff when people open PRs, and then or when I open a PR, not that anyone else is going to contribute to this, but when I open a PR, it'll automatically run tests. I need to set up linting and formatting. I haven't done that yet. And then I need to set up a workflow to publish it to NPM when a PR is merged to main. But it's coming along. Sanjay, long time no see. Yeah, it's been a minute, but glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Sometimes I can't talk correctly. Modern with J Money Brown. What's up? Hello, Modern with J Money Brown. That is quite the username. I can't imagine anybody setting up a YouTube account and then saying Modern with J Money Brown. But I guess that could be like your brand name, huh? Is that like your brand name? But yeah, good to have you here, man. Hope you're doing well. Artwork Studios. I'll make a app to show keyboard input. Yeah, keyboard. I think those apps are pretty cool. The one I have installed on this computer is called. What is it called? It's called. It's like I think it's a purple icon. I don't use it a ton. Because what I would do is I would forget that I have the keyboard input on as I'm typing sensitive things. And then I would dox myself to the world. Windows keyboard input app thing. What's it? What am I looking for? You guys are distracting me. Show key presses Windows. God, I wish I could remember the name of it so bad. This is bothering me. Clay, it's 3 a.m. I'm going to Turkey. Wow. Why are you up at 3 a.m., man? That's crazy. Sanjay, what's new? Nothing news much, man. I use show me the keys. Oh, interesting. I've never heard of that. I know I have it on here. I can't remember the name of it for the life of me. I was gonna see if I could jog my memory by looking through my list of programs. It's gonna bug me if I can't remember the name. Why do I get fixated on stuff like this? I have no idea. I just do. Maybe I don't have it on this one. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I guess I don't have it on here. I saw a chat I wanted to respond to. Sanjay, what are you working on? I'm working on a model context protocol server, Sanjay. Artwork Studios, is .NET 4.6 still new? It's .NET 4.6 is not new. .NET 4.6 would be that what you're probably referring to is .NET Framework, which is different, which is a different thing. I'm guessing that's what you're referring to is .NET Framework. What you want to use if you're starting something new today is you want to be using just good old .NET, or what it used to be referred to as .NET Core. But now everybody kind of refers to it as just .NET. So if you say .NET, you're talking about .NET Core. If you're talking about .NET Framework, you're talking about something else. But I would start with .NET 9. That's the newest version that's out. This is in .NET 10's in preview. That won't come out to the fall though. It's not that .NET Framework's bad. It's just old. And not a lot of people are using it to start new things. What is this live about? It looks interesting. This live is just a guy in Kansas writing some code, drinking some coffee, and chatting with you guys. And today, what I'm working on, code-wise, project-wise, is something called a model context protocol server. So this is like a way to give AI-powered apps like Cursor or VS Code even, or Claude Desktop, arms and legs to do things beyond just have a conversation with you or help you write code. I think I'm just gonna steal Claude Desktop's instructions from their documentation. Claude Desktop MCP. Hey, what's up, Boston? How are you? Good to see you, man. Oh, did I disconnect? I think I disconnected for a second. I think I'm back. Let's see. Hockey. If you were to only have 3 tools you could give it, what would they be? Like, if I could only have 3 tools that I could give it to do basically anything, I think is what you're meaning, right? Oh, that's tough. I think one has to be the file system. Like, it just has to be, right? Like, at the very least, you want it to be able to work with your local file system. So does a server count as a tool, or like does like the file, like in the file system MCP server, like one of its tool is read file? Does a read file count as one tool, or does like the file system MCP server count as one tool in your scenario here? Because that changes things quite a bit. The file system counts as one. Okay, so yeah, so I'd probably do the MCP file server for the MCP file server. The file system MCP server. I don't know how the hell to say these things. Artwork Studios. I rarely use VS, but it feels nice. Artwork Studios. Do you mean Visual Studio or Visual Studio Code? Because Visual Studio, I think, is a nice ID. It's like the cockpit of a 747, right? It's got a lot of knobs and whistles and buttons and things going on. It can be a little overwhelming. All right, so the file system. What else? I'd probably SQLite would probably be helpful. Yeah, so maybe. I mean, 9 times out of 10, what you're talking to Claude about is what you're talking to these chat apps about is you really want the MCP servers to be able to provide additional context that Claude doesn't have itself. So I think that's why the file system is important. Maybe the Playwright MCP. I'd probably pick the Playwright MCP because that would allow it to drive a browser, which I think could be incredibly helpful. So that's 2. That's 2 of the 3. I'm thinking about this too hard, aren't I? Yeah, let's just go with the Playwright MCP server, the file system MCP server, and let's do SQLite. Yeah, those are the 3 I'd pick, I think. Artwork Studios, Visual Studio. Yeah, so I agree with you. Yeah, Visual Studio is nice. It just takes a minute to boot up, and there's a lot going on in there. Dogman. My dog got arrested for holding an underground honeybee boxing match with toasted toenail beverages. Okay, did you just put that into... Dogman, did you go to ChatGPT and say, make me a Mad Lib to put in Steven's YouTube chat? Because that's what it sounds like. Boston, good. How are you? I'm doing well, Boston. How are you doing? What's the situation with the Celtics? They're currently leading, right? Oh no, they knocked Magic out. They did. They won the series 4-1. Nice. Well, you must be having a good time then. Hockey, interesting. I would be wanting memory though, just for when I start growing gray hair. Yeah, memory might be good. I mean, the SQLite, that's why I picked SQLite, right? Because SQLite, you could ask it to persist things into a SQLite database. So that would be a good way to just have local memory storage. Dogman, yes, LOL. Well, I'd love to see the prompt you use, because that's just that's some nonsensical shit that came out of ChatGPT. Dogman 6752. Good morning. Well, good morning. It's not morning for me, man. It's 9:59 p.m. here. Dogman, that was a misclick. Okay, Steve. See ya. I've got to go to library. See ya. See ya, Toad Sage. Have a good day, man. I hope the library treats you well. Not me. Hello. Hello, not me. What a username you have there. Okay, so you're gonna say one, find the Claude desktop config.json file. I probably should just point this. I'm going to say, please reference this documentation for more information where to find the file. MCP. Let's just I'm just gonna call this for Claude desktop users, and then I'm gonna say to open the file in the text editor and add the following. Oh wow, that's not at all right. Copilot just be making stuff up left and right. Just be making shit up. So this is what it looks like to add whoops. That's what it looks like to add the file server one, and now I just need to change it to be mine. I actually think I want this to be under my name. So I need to update my package. I think you can specify environment variables in here too. Or is that just in VS Code? Claude desktop environment variables. Not me. If you don't learn if you don't mind, how did you learn to program? So not me. I'm going to use a Nightbot command here, and I'm going to type in exclamation point learn to code. This would be a great place to go and look. You can check out freecodecamp.org. That was really the big piece of structured coding curriculum that I followed that really got me up and running, particularly with web development, and particularly with web development using JavaScript as the primary language. I learned C# kind of separate on the side through my own exploration of things on YouTube and Pluralsight. But if you're interested in coding, I would send you to Free Code Camp. Hockey noise, gotta head out and back. Hopefully stream's still running. Yeah, Hockey, if you're back, if you see me still alive when you get back, man, jump in. Be safe. Have a good day. Toad says, did you mean librarian treats me well? Because there's no way a library can treat you something to eat or drink. Well, I don't know. Our libraries here are pretty baller, Toad Sage. We live in a place. The county that we live in has some really nice libraries. They got coffee shops in there and little study rooms you can rent out and stuff. It's super nice. So go, how soon until you get monetized, Steven? I can't donate right now. Yeah, I don't actually know. I think I can find that out. Hold on. I think I've crossed the subscriber threshold, but I think I have a watch hours. Yeah. So I need to get to either 3,000 valid public watch hours, which I have no idea what that means, or I need to get to 3 million valid public shorts views. And right now I am at 1,916 valid public watch hours. So I'm just over halfway there on the public watch hours. So maybe I get there before the end of the year. If I'm sitting at about 2,000 public watch hours now in April or May, maybe I get there before the end of the year. It has to be 3,000 public watch hours in the last 365 days. But you definitely, Sogo, you definitely don't need to donate to me, man. Yeah, you guys, I mean, I've got the day job. The day job takes care of the bills, you know, keeps the lights on. No need. You guys definitely don't need to donate to me, even if I do get monetized. Toad says, I love the libraries of Japan more than India, man. Well, I'll have to take your word for it because I've never been to a library in either of those countries, but I do like our public libraries. I very much appreciate all the services they offer people. AI official YouTube channel got its message deleted by Nightbot. Damn, Nightbot's kind of OP. Artwork Studios found the toolbox and me feels happy. Well, good for you, Artwork Studios. Sogo Hotel. I assume that's why people do sleep streams. Yeah, I'm guessing so. I'm guessing there's a way to like hack the public watch hours thing, but it's not that important to me, you know, at the moment. So the thing I'm thinking about right now is I'm thinking about the fact that in order for my server to work, these environment variables need to be set. And I'm basically trying to think if in here I need to provide an example of how to set the environment variables. Or maybe I just leave that up to the user. Because there's a few different ways you could do it, right? Like you could, instead of using npx, you could use you could install this npm globally, and then you could, yeah, I mean, there's a few different ways you could pass the environment variables on the command line too. I think I'll just leave this for now unless if somebody gives me feedback, it needs to be different. Okay, I'm happy with where the documentation is. I think I need to move on to setting up the pipelines or the workflows for GitHub. That's what I should do next. Let's see. Control Shift P. Toggle word wrap. Okay. Let's say let's have Copilot generate a commit message here for me. Nice. All right. Do I dare try to set up ESLint? Oh my gosh, the newest version of ESLint is such a pain in the ass to configure. Guy Fawkes, you're a god. I don't think that's accurate. So I go, yes, Nightbot is great. Yeah, Nightbot's actually really cool. There's a guy named Butterscotch who recommended that to me. He's in our Discord. He's super nice. Super nice dude. He's helped me a lot with, like, don't be a lazy Vim user. He's always in my chat being like, hey, you need to use these Vim motions. But then he also suggested Nightbot one stream. And yeah, I set that up right away and it's been great. Kogarashi, yo, what's up, Kogarashi? How are you? Kogarashi, I just woke up for my coaching and saw you streaming. Have a nice day. Gotta go. No worries, dude. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. AI official YouTube channel. Are you really the official AI YouTube channel? Like, really? I'm just giving you a hard time. We are making, I was working on documentation, but what the documentation is for my model context protocol client, which allows MCP clients, or my model context protocol server, which allows MCP clients to do cool things. Let's see, npm run build. Nice. And then trying to open Claude so I could show this guy. Yeah, so now what I can do is I can go into Claude, and Claude can talk to this other system. It can do things like, hey, get me the apps that I have access to in OnSpring. And then it should be able to do that because it should have a tool and it should ask me to use that tool. Although first it needs to gather its thoughts. Prabhav, why don't you always keep moderators in the stream? Well, I just don't have big enough streams or big enough audience, big enough audience to really warrant having mods full time. So yeah, that's why. If it ever gets overwhelming, I will definitely ask for help for sure. Toad Sage, any new Vim motions you have learned nowadays? Okay, so here's a really silly one, but it had stumped me for a while because I didn't know how to do it. And then Butterscotch told me how to do it the other day on stream. And here's how you do. Here's what you do. Okay, so you know how, like, sometimes when you're working in code, you know, you'll have you'll have a bit of code here, right? So let me make this a little bigger. So you'll have this bit of code, this, let's say this if statement, and you want to just comment it out, right? And so in VS Code, I used to highlight it and then do control question mark, I think is what I would do. But I didn't know how to comment multiple lines out, like select multiple lines and comment them in and out. And so he taught me that it's GC. So I highlight all that, GC. And I highlight it all again, GC. So that was something I learned recently, which I should have probably already known for a while. But I was very happy when I figured that out. Sogo, I'm happy to be a moderator. Happy to help out. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think Sogo's offered. There's another guy, Voldy, who's in my Discord, who's offered to do it. So I've had a bunch of really nice people offer to help me out. I just, at this point, I feel like mods would kind of be overkill for the size of my channel and the views, like the viewership that I get on stream. I am going to add a note here real quick. Okay. I feel good about that. Shift G. Commit it. Yeah, now what I want to do is I want to set up linting and formatting, which I probably should have set up at the beginning of my project, but so be it. Sanjay, hello, bro. I had to go. Oh, no worries, dude. No worries at all. Shivam Singh. What are you just... You're a cat. Okay, interesting. Artwork Studios, my comments are coming out slower because I'm working on my project. Yeah, no worries, Artwork Studios. Like, I'm totally okay with all you guys doing. Like, I don't expect you to pay attention or interact with the stream the whole time, right? Like, if we're all just kind of vibing, working on our own thing, that sounds like a good time to me. Wowie, hello there. Hello, Wowie. I hope you're doing well. Sogo, I like how Nightbot stops spam. Yeah, and what's crazy, a lot of that's just configured out of the box, Sogo. Like, you just like log in to an account with Nightbot and it all just kind of works. Connect it to your channel and it's a really nice product. Sanjay, what time is it there? It is 10:19, which also means it's time to go get another shot of espresso. First name, what is linting? I've seen it in stuff I'm developing. So linting is basically just a way for you to drop diagnostics, or you don't even have to put it in an editor. Like, you can just run it on the command line. But it's basically just a way to specify specific rules about the way your code is written and then flag violations of those rules, right? That's basically what it is. But it's usually it's less specific to things like formatting, which you can definitely use ESLint to do formatting related things. Most people, it seems like in the TypeScript, JavaScript world, use some combination of ESLint with Prettier, which is what I've always used. But there's a newer thing out there. What is it called? I just saw Wes Boss talking about it the other day. JavaScript ESLint alternatives. Biome. That's what it is. Biome. This is a newer thing. I've never tried it before. It's supposed to be simpler, I think, than ESLint, and I think it's also supposed to be more performant, potentially. Maybe we try this. Try something a little different, huh? Because I think this is all in one. I think this is formatting and linting. It'll do both. We recommend installing an editor plugin to get the most out of Biome. Check out the editor page. Honestly, though, I don't know if I have NeoVim configured to work with Biome, because right now it's configured to work with ESLint. Okay, I'm probably not going to undertake that right now. Because if I have to screw with my NeoVim configs, that's just a completely different kind of evening. Completely different kind of evening. I think we'll just do ESLint and prettier like I normally do and rock and roll. So Go Hotel. I can't remember. Did you have an espresso machine? I do, but it's very cheap. It's a very cheap one. It's like $100 espresso machine. It's not anything fancy. So Go. What time is it? It's 10:22. Yes, just a nice evening shot of espresso. Sanjay, going to play video games after this? Probably not. No, there probably won't be time to play any video games. We've been playing Power World recently. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Power World. My oldest son has recently got real into it. Oh, that's kind of like the Style 50 program that's offered in CS50 class. Yeah, it's very similar, right? So it's just, you know, it's a way to enforce. It can be used. ESLint can be used to enforce both stylistic things, formatting things, and also just like bad code practices. Like one of my favorite rules, if you're writing a lot of asynchronous code, there's a ESLint rule for TypeScript that's called no floating promises. Like this rule will save your life if you write a lot of asynchronous code. It'll basically catch places where you haven't dealt with resolving aspect of a promise, right? It'll just make sure you've always awaited the promise. Or done something like this, right? Catch finally then off the end of it. But yeah, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff like that. And so yeah, Style 50, right, is probably some sort of implementation of a linter or a formatter. Artwork Studios. I love using WPF because I can do anything in it because it's platform specific. Yeah, I mean, people knock WPF, right? They knock those kind of old school WinForms, Windows dialogue applications, but man, when you're getting to work with something that's, like you said, platform specific, feels nice because it all just kind of works, and you don't have to concern yourself with things working on other platforms, right? It makes your life simpler as the developer. Let's Hack Short. Yo, Steven, nice to see you. Nice to see you too, Let's Hack Short. Hope you're doing well. Toad Sage. A friend of mine uses linting and pre-commits to maintain the structure of code entirely. I don't like that approach. It's like restricting the way of code. Yeah, I personally kind of like pre-commit hooks, but I can see a lot of developers taking offense to that, right? If every time you want to make a commit, you have to allow the linter and the formatter to run. I think that's probably better for just CI/CD. Let the CI/CD do that, right? Whenever you try to merge code in somewhere, like people are welcome to commit all they want locally, but the minute those commits try to get merged to some sort of feature branch or main branch, then do the enforcement there. But I've definitely used pre-commit hooks in some projects. Like I've used pre-commit hooks even to run like linting, formatting, and testing before I commit. It definitely keeps you honest, that's for sure. But it does make it restrictive if like you're in the middle of doing something and you want to just commit some work in progress. Then it feels like there's a lot of friction. But then you can always just pass. There's a flag you can pass to Git, which I think is like -- no verify, and it will skip all the pre-commit hooks. Toad says, I'm on T's side on pre-commits, man. Yeah, I totally understand. Totally understand that. Snowchild said, hi. Hello, Snowchild. There must be some button that people push that drops that chat into the YouTube chat, right? Said hi, because I see a lot of people enter my chat and their first message is said hi. Let's hack short. Oh, you still remember me? Yeah. You were here. Not. Was it yesterday? Yesterday or the day before? You were in my daytime stream. So nice to see you again. Artwork Studios uninstalling Audacity right now. Why? Audacity is pretty good. Okay, guys, hold on real quick. I'm gonna go get another shot of espresso if I'm gonna keep working on this, because I'm getting ready to combat my greatest enemy, ESLint. Actually, ESLint wasn't bad to configure. It's the new ESLint, the new version of ESLint, ESLint 9, I think. The flat config file. God, this thing's such a pain in the ass. But I'm going to go get a little bit more caffeine. Let's see. BRB went to get coffee. And I totally understand it if any of you guys need to move along for your evening. But I'll be right back, all right? And I'm going to mute myself. If I come back and you're still here, don't let me forget I'm muted. I remembered to unmute myself. Also, I said, I'm an idiot. I said BRB win to get coffee. Should have been went. Anywho, doesn't matter now. Damage has been done. Alright, let's see if I can get this going. I wonder if anything. I kind of feel like I need to make sure. So I am doing TypeScript. So ESLint TypeScript. I think I probably want to use this, don't I? All right, this seems straightforward. Let's just follow the instructions. Sogo said, "Is Steven still muted?" You almost got me, man. You almost got me. You really did. Our work. Hey, Steven, long time no see. Yeah, it's been forever, hasn't it? Bob, yeah, sometimes I want to type something, but my brain ends up typing something else. You know what, Bob? You know which one gets me a lot, Bob? Is a lot of the times in work, because I do quality stuff for work. I'm always trying to type test, and I always end up typing text, or vice versa. I'll be trying to type text, and I type test. I do that all the time. Let's hack short. Data any. No, hey, better yet, not data any. What about how about pretending that await response.json returns a strongly typed object when it's actually any? What if I just say it's something? Like and subscribe if you're a real G. Double tap the screen. Well, Sogo, that's so nice of you to try to encourage people to do that stuff. Bob, LL, same, yeah. I do that all the time. It's like a brain fart, I guess. Let's hack short. Oh, I see. Data any null. Yeah. That's probably a much better approach there. Did y'all see the liker counter glitching out just now? No, I did not. Did it glitch out? Also, why does this say I've changed so many lines changed? Oh, probably because of package lock, maybe? Jesus. 1,000? Dude. It's completely screwed up the alignment of this thing. Okay, so git add git commit chore add ESLint deps. There we go. That's better. It's going to become an issue though. It's really going to bother me that it's going to run off the right side of my screen. That's going to bother me. Sogo, wow, that coffee was effective. Yes, it was. It was very effective. Alright, what do I need to do now to get this working? I just need to add a config file. Okay. Oh, I can close VS Code now. I got what I needed out of Copilot. I'm done with you. ESLint.config. Was it JS? MJS. Oh, goodness. We have issues, don't we? Process is not defined. Oh, these are some node issues right here. This is a good ESLint rule that is a good one to have in there. Assigned a value but never used. That's a good one to have. Let's see, npm, or no, nvim. Lint. I think I actually want, I actually just want a lint. And then I want a lint fix like that. I want two separate ones. npm run lint. Okay. npm run lint fix. Alright, so I just need to go back and I just need to go through and fix those. And now I'd like to set up prettier. Some TypeScript ESLint rules utilize TypeScript's type checking APIs to provide much deeper insights. To enable type linting, there are two small changes you need to make to your config file. I wonder if this would get rid of my let's see. This is taking much longer now. Narendra said hi. Hello, Narendra. How are you? Alright, this is taking a long time. I feel like something's wrong. I watch your shorts but can't comment. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why you couldn't comment. Is that a me problem? Oh goodness, this is that whole... I'm gonna need two different config files. Or two different TS config files, I think. Oh no, I included that. So why is it... Why is it complaining about not being able to... Excuse me. My phone's UI blocks comment button? Oh, interesting. I wonder why. Unique UX. Total lines change has to be record. Oh, it's definitely a record. Although a large majority of them were just, I think, package lock file changes. See, Git records tool was not found by project service. Consider either including it in the tsconfig.json or including it in the allow default project. Alright, so for some reason it's not picking up my spec files. I mean, it's looking at a bunch of stuff it shouldn't be looking at. So I need to figure out how to configure this thing to ignore stuff. Project service? With JavaScript projects that just... Configuring this stuff seems like it's way more difficult than it needs to be. Oh, age restriction? I don't know, maybe. That's weird. I just think it's weird that the comment is not allowed. Consider including it in the ts config.json or including it yeah, this is an issue with, yeah, it's going to display that error on anything that's not here in the source folder. Exclude eslint.config. Does that fix that error? No, it doesn't. Default project? Maybe I set that explicitly. Let's see. Default project. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. Just ask Chat GPT, I don't know, post the error to it. Yeah, that might be what I end up having to do. I honestly, every time I've screwed with ESLint, the new flat config, I always have so much issue. I'm sure it's a skill issue on my part. I mean, it works fine. It works fine if I do, if I remove this and I do the recommended, everyone is happy then. But then I run into a type issue. Yeah, then I run into this issue of buffer process. What if I just search ESLint flat config node types? Let's see. Let's look at globals. So maybe if I do import globals from globals. Oh, I have to install it. ESLint globals package. Hardwork shows this is probably the longest stream he's done. Actually, no, it's not. It's the longest stream I did, I think, recently. I mean, no one was really there for it. Was I did an Advent of Code stream at the end of last year. That was like 8 hours, six or 8 hours or something like that. The most recent stream that I did that was the longest was like 4 hours. A very random 4-hour long stream. And that was actually a horizontal stream. Alright, so we want language options, globals, and then we want to spread the globals.node. Language options, globals, globals.node. Let's see if that fixes our... My wife is laughing hysterically at something. Artwork Studios, no wonder I didn't see it, yeah. Bob, make it 6 hours. Oh, man, I don't think I can last for 6 hours. Okay, that got rid of all my node-specific lint errors. So that's what I want. So now I need to go into each one of these places and fix this. I wonder if it actually shows up. Let's see. Filter. Oh, it should show up in here, shouldn't it? There we go. Unexpected. Oh, this is a case where I need to do... I need to wrap this to make ESLint happy. All right, tools. I actually realized something about my NeoVim configs that it doesn't seem to work. Is I'm supposed to be able to type leader and then E, like you can see it. I'm supposed to be able to type leader E to display errors. But whenever I do that, it doesn't work. Leader E doesn't show me my errors. Should I get distracted and figure out why that's the case? Or should I just... I should stay focused. I shouldn't get distracted by that. Let's see, where are we? We're over here. This is another similar type of issue. We just need to wrap this. I have many errors like that. Oh, you know what? This is... I don't want it to be including the build folder. See that? So I need to... You need to go to this. I need to change the extensions. Don't include JS. Just worry about TS files. Alright, tools, filter we fixed, and now we need to fix all my test code. Unexpected any? I want to do that. Or I guess I could do that instead, actually. I could do that. It accomplishes the same thing. Oh, you guys can't see half my code, huh? I'm screwing with the size of my window here. Do that. This is like the same error over and over again. I'm sure somebody would be like, you can use a Vim macro for this. Oh, this one can be removed because I don't use it. This is where being able to view the errors would be very helpful, because then I could just jump right to the spot where the error is instead of trying to hunt for it. Oh, there it is. It's at the top of the file. I know this is very exciting content, guys. Me fixing lint errors, I know. Bob, I remember about 3 months ago, I found out my laptop got hit with crypto mining malware. My GPU was constantly at like 70, 100% usage. Did some digging. Turns out it was something called LOL miner. Whoever wrote that malware had a really good sense of humor. I don't know anything about it, Bob, though. I'm sorry that happened to you, though. Toad Sage, by the way, found the fix to my problem. Now I can work on my project in NeoVim. Nice. That's the life of a NeoVim user, isn't it? First, you have to fix your editor config so that you can then go and fix your code. Oh, VX Trading looks like he knows something about it. Toad Sage, no more VS Code. Nice, dude. Well, I'm glad you got it fixed. My PC is always at 100% naturally. Unique UX. I have coffee and I'm playing CS too. Nice, dude. That sounds like a good time. Well, cheers. I have coffee and I'm fixing linting errors. I actually think I'm getting close to fixing them all, though. Let's see. If I want to go down to line 21, I should type 21J. There we go. And then I should jump over by word. There we go. Come on, Steven. Use your VimFoo. I should jump 21J. All right. I think that was all my Let's run it again. Okay, 2 errors. But it's still looking. Why is it looking at those files? It should only be looking at TS files. Does this not work? Let's see. ESLint flat config ignore directory. Dude, this new configuration is so weird. So you import global ignores, and then you pass in an array of globs that you want to ignore. That seems very, very unnecessary. So the default patterns are node modules and Git. Okay, that's nice. So import define, what was it? Define what? Globally ignoring files. Depending on how the ignores property you use, it can behave as non-global or as global. Okay, so we're going to do... Oh my goodness, that's way too much information. Alright, so we are going to do node modules and build. Oh, and Git. See if that works. There we go. It worked. Okay, cool. Toad Sage, but ironically is that I use VS Code to fix Vim. That's hilarious. Hindustani, respect WSL Vim users, best of both worlds. Yeah, it's NeoVim and PowerShell is actually what it is. Hindustani. I'm not actually using WSL. Unique UX, git ignore bro. No, I don't know. Rob Matteo says print hello chat. I like that, Rob, but I would much prefer console.log hello chat, or maybe console.writeline hello chat. Good to see you, man. Just ignore the blobs, bro. Easy blobs ignored. Kenneth, yo man, what's up? Have you tried Biome? I haven't. We were actually talking about that, Kenneth, before you got here. I think we were talking about how I had seen Wes Boss. If you know who Wes Boss is, I had seen Wes Boss talking about using Biome instead of ESLint in Prettier. And then the thing that stopped me though from doing that was I'm using NeoVim right now, and I have my configuration set up to work nicely with ESLint for diagnostics, but I don't know about setting up Biome to work with NeoVim in order to get diagnostics in the editor. So I probably need to explore that first. And it looks like somebody else is already doing that. But yeah, that's like a whole journey that I'm not prepared to go on yet. Can you share your project on GitHub? Yeah, for sure. It's let's see. If you go to github.com, I pretty much put just about every piece of code I ever write. It usually ends up on my GitHub. It's right here. This is the repo for this project. I'll just pop it into chat there for you. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do, or not the last thing, but the next thing I'm going to do. Oh, hey, buddy. Although my son just woke up. All right, he was definitely sleepwalking there. That's funny. Tell you what, kids are a good time. You want to have some fun in your life? Throw some kids in the mix. Artwork Studios, yeah, no, I can't get it working. What can't you get working? Yeah, the son did enter chat. Yeah, he sleeps super hard, man. Our youngest, he sleeps super hard, and when he wakes up, it's it's like he's in another world. Oh, did OBS just disconnect again? And OBS is back. The key presses? Oh. Well, I'm sorry you can't get it working, man. Okay, npm install prettier -- save dev. Let's see, and then I've set up prettier so many times that I just always go to one of my existing projects and just copy the prettier config from there. Let's see. We go to a recent one. Excuse me. Let's go. Where is it? Data flow. Let's go in here. Do I have this set up? Yeah, I do. Prettier. Some of this is not going to be applicable. Let's see. It's a dot prettier .json or rc.json. Is that what I want? Yeah. Yep, that's what I want. Let's see, I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. The rest of that's fine. And then I'll also add a prettier ignore. Oh, prettier will actually follow your get ignore. So that should be fine. Isn't there like a, yeah, prettier - check? And then there's fix, which is the one that writes. Okay, so we'll do npm run lint. Let's see, hotkey. Do you have prettify.js? I've never heard of prettify.js. Prettify.js? I've never heard of that. I have used prettify. Prettify, but not prettify.js. Yeah, I've never heard of it. Do you prefer npm or pnpm? I've honestly, Kenneth, I've only ever used npm. Honestly, I've never used another package manager. I just haven't ever felt the need. But that might be because my project, all the projects I've worked on maybe haven't been large enough or have enough dependencies maybe to notice like a performance or a speed thing. Because I think pnpm helps with some of the performance stuff because it does something smart with like managing the packages centrally or something like that. Let's ask Claude. I can't remember exactly what the difference is. What is the difference between pnpm and npm? And obviously, I know there's like Yarn. People like Yarn. But I've never. I just have never used it. Yeah, that's what it was. They use it. It basically the packages are stored once on your disk. Yep. And they use the symlinks. But no, I haven't ever really explored those. Devash-ish. Hey, what's up, Devash-ish? Or maybe I'll just say Dalvi, maybe. Earzall. I'm trying to pip install module, but it didn't work. What should I do? I don't know. Maybe you got the wrong module. All right, Artwork Studios, do your thing, man. Do your thing. I'm trying to install GRDIO. Gradio? Pip install Gradio. Well, let's see if I can install it. Pip, let's see, disable read line for a second here. Pip install radio. Yeah, I mean, I seem to be able to install it, so I'm not sure why. I'm curious what your error, maybe what error messages you're getting. Maybe somebody can help you. Oh, this is fail because I need to run this from an elevated shell. There is a new version of pip though. I'll install that. Pip uninstall. Whoops. Uninstall. Oh, it didn't succeed. Oh my goodness. What? No module. Now I'm just getting all kinds of... Now I'm getting all kinds of distracted. Now I'm over here in Python land trying to figure out why I can't install different packages. We're kind of all kinds of distracted. Okay, npm run format. No. Nice. Okay, npm run lint again. Okay, cool. We have linting, we have formatting. Let's go. Let's see. Get status. Oh my gosh, look at all those lines, guys. Jesus, running off the edge of the screen. I gotta figure out. Maybe I might need to start putting. I might need to change how I display the lines changed, because it's bothering me that it's running off the screen like that. But if I stop this, if I stop the script now, Yeah, if I stop the script now, I won't be able to keep the lines changed the same. Dalvy, are you using Oh My Posh or Starship? I'm using Oh My Posh, is what I'm using, Dalvy. Good eye there. Toxin, let's go. Yeah, let's go, man. We're one step closer. So I think at this point, I can do git add. Let's see, setup, linting, and formatting. And then so now I'm at the point where really the last thing I need to do is I need to write GitHub workflows. That's the last thing I need to do. I mean, honestly, I could probably publish this thing. Like, I could publish this thing without having it automated, but let's see. .github workflows. And then I'm going to want a pull request. And then I'm also going to want a publish. Because I'm just going to publish this as an npm package. Whoops, I didn't mean to quit. Unique UX, damn, so close. Yeah, we're close, man. I probably get this done before the end of the week. For sure, for sure. I doubt a lot of people will use it, but I've learned a lot in the process, so that's been well worth the it's been well worth the time invested, you know? And like Artwork Studio says, I probably need to sit down and just do a small blog post about like things learned for my own edification more than anything. Pull request. I probably have an existing project that I can use as like a pretty decent starting point. Let's see. This is probably a pretty good starting point here. GitHub workflows. Oh yeah, this is that's way too much. I don't need all this. This is all for integration testing. Okay, let's just let's see. We'll do workflow dispatch. And then we'll do pull request. And we want to ignore some stuff. Actually, let's not. Yeah, we want to ignore. Let's see, path dash ignore. And there'll be a number of things we want to ignore. And then branches. It's going to be main. Anytime there's a pull request that targets main. And then we'll have some jobs that we need to define. Let's see, so what paths do we want to ignore? We want to ignore changes to really just to files, right? If I open a pull request that doesn't let's see, source, anything under there. We don't need README. Probably if there's a change to the TS. Like vi test, if there's a change to that file, if there's a change to any of the tsconfig files. If there's a change to the ESLint config file. Yeah, I guess maybe this makes more sense to do paths ignore. I don't know. Which one should I do? Yeah, I think paths ignore makes more sense. So license.md. README. I think those are the only files I don't care about running this workflow on. Actually, I'm going to ignore the GitHub folder. Oh, I don't care about the git ignore either. Yeah, I think if anything else changes, then I want to run this. Okay, so then we need to lint, we need to format, we need to test. Yes? Yes. Gaming Conmat. Hello, I'm wondering about something. I'm making a game in Unity. I want to use JSON for saving data. How does JSON exactly work? And how should I use it in C#, since that's the coding language for Unity? So I'm not GamingNet Matt, I'm not super familiar with Unity. I am familiar with working in with data in, let's see, let's make a little directory here. Make dir JSON playground C#. Let's change into there. Let's .NET new console. Yeah, and just put it here. So we'll just bootstrap that up really quick. So basically, I mean, there's nothing really like special about JSON, right? So JSON is just a structured way, JavaScript object notation. It's just a structured way of describing objects using using a format that can be easily serialized and deserialized in a lot of languages. And C# has very good support for doing that out of the box. For a long time, a lot of people used a library called Newtonsoft.json, but now there's a built-in namespace for it called system.text.json that you can use. And so at a very high level, right, all you're going to do is you're just going to have some objects, right, that represents the state in your game that you're probably going to have some sort of strongly typed representation of that. So you could have something like class state, and then you're going to have something like, let's say, an ID. I don't know, let's say a name. There we go. It's complaining. You're going to have something like that, and then, right, you're going to have an object, an actual instance of that state, which it's decided by state. I'm referring to an actual state, which is kind of funny. Let's see, new. Oh, whoops. I've got to move this down here, right? And imagine this is actually like game state, right? So then at this point, what you're going to do is you need to serialize this to a JSON string and then write it to a file, right? And so to do that, you can do something, you can say var JSON string, and you're going to bring in the static class called JSON serializer, and you're going to serialize the state, and you need to bring in a namespace. And then once you're here, once you have this serialized, then you can just write it to a file. So you can say await file write all text, and then if we run this, let's go ahead and obviously, like in your game, you're going to create some sort of abstraction to like load the data and save the data, load the data and save the data. But that's really the high level. So we do .NET run. Hopefully this doesn't blow up in my face. So now if we go and look at our bin folder, we should see a state file. Oh, no, it's right there because we wrote it to the root. So you can see we wrote that to, we wrote that to some text here, right? So now it's persisted, right? That object is essentially persisted to disk in a JSON string. And then to load that back into your program, you would then say, you would then load it back in. You could say var saved state. You read the text back in, and then you'll say state, and you'll call, instead of calling serialize, you'll call deserialize, and you'll give it the type that you want to serialize it to. And then you can say console.writeLine and write it out. So if we run this again, it prints our ID, right? And so then theoretically what you're doing is you're just loading that state in from the game. You modify that state object or that data object in your code, and then write it back out to disk. So that would be kind of the simple mechanics of it in C#. So the main class you're going to want to focus on is that JSON serializer, and then you're probably going to want to abstract all this away, like the reading and the writing, into another class, right? Like maybe like a data manager class or something like that. But I hope that helps Gaming Con Matt. I don't know if that's what you were looking for, but that's really the long and the short of it, right? And I think C# makes it really nice and really flexible and really easy to work with JSON. And this state can really be as complex as you want, right? So you could have a list of players, which is your players, right? And then we could have another class down here that's called that, and we could have a list of players, right? So you can make your state or your data, right, as complex as you wanted to make it. Oh. Gotta make this public. There we go. But yeah, so you could even serialize a complex object like this, right? If you wanted to. And the code, though, is still the same. You're still going to serialize it to a string, write it to the disk, read it in from disk, deserialize it. Thanks, help a lot. Yeah, that helps. Okay, cool. I'm glad that was helpful, because I just did that on the fly, and I don't know if that... I didn't know if that was going to help you, but hopefully that does. Hoisin or Josen Studio, hi, hello. What's happening? We were taking a very brief detour to talk about reading and writing JSON from disk in C#. That's what we were doing. Saran, how do you keep yourself motivated to code? Saran, is just, I just like doing it, you know? It doesn't require a lot of motivation because I just enjoy it. You know? You kind of, that old saying of like, you know, a man who enjoys the journey will walk farther than a man who only cares about the destination. That's kind of me in code, right? I just enjoy the activity. So it doesn't take a lot of motivation. Harold, hello, golfer. Because he's using Golang, not Rust. Oh, I'm using C#, and I'm also using TypeScript. Well, I was just using C#, but I've been using TypeScript mostly this evening. Coding Training said hi. Hello, Coding Training. How are you? Unique UX, I'm out, Steven. Bye, everyone. See you, Unique UX. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you tagging along for so long. Very kind of you. Crypto News. Hi, Steven. Hello, Crypto News. How are you? Dogman, I don't know if it's just me, but your camera is lagging. It's possible. It's possible I'm overwhelming my resources here. Crypto News, give me some insight of what you're building. Okay, so I'm building an MCP server to talk to a third-party API. An MCP server is basically like a way to give arms and legs to an MCP client, which an MCP client would be something like Claude Desktop. So I can demo it for you real quick. With my MCP server set up, if I open Claude Desktop, right? So if I start a new chat right here, you'll see I have a set of tools, available MCP tools. So I can do things like get the weather alerts for my state, or in this case, the server that I wrote is what allows me to get apps or to get fields or to get files. And so what I can do then is I can get data from this third-party system and inject that into the context of my conversation with Claude in this case, but it doesn't just have to be Claude Desktop. It could be Cursor, or it could be ChatGPT's desktop app. I think there's several MCP clients out there now. And so then with those tools in place, I can do things like, hey, can you tell me what fields, or no, can you tell me what reports are in my users app? And then hopefully, now that Claude knows about those tools, and based on my question, it will sort of figure out that it can use the tools to figure out. So it actually, what it did there was Claude used my server. It generated this input for the get reports tool, which is coming from my server. And then my server reached out, grabbed this blob of data, this JSON array, which is just a bunch of report names, and dumped it back into the context window. And then you may say, well, why is that helpful? Well, then you can start layering more information into that context window from that other system. without having to copy and paste and, you know, shift things around. You can just have Claude go and do all that work. And there's lots of, this isn't going to be particularly interesting for you if you're not a user of this software. But if you want to explore some cool MCP servers, you can go to this GitHub repo, and there is a bunch of killer MCP servers that you can use. You can use an MCP server for GitHub, for Google Drive, to talk to a SQLite database. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. Crypto news, that's good. What you use for backend to provide API or context to Claude. So that's the MCP server. You can kind of think of it like a wrapper, like a LLM specific wrapper around an existing API, right? So if I can show you the code, but basically you have an entry file. Oh man, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. You have basically an entry file that starts your server up, and then your server is what you're going to define, is where you're going to find what functionality that the server has, right? So this is where you add tools, and then each tool is going to have a name, it's going to have a description, and then it's going to have a function, which is the code that it's going to call. And there's several, if you're interested in learning more, if you go to modelcontextprotocol.io, they have some really good tutorials on like getting started to build both servers and clients. And they also have several SDKs. So if you're not a TypeScript person and you'd rather work in Python, you can use Python. Or if you're more like a C# guy like me, you can work in C#. But it's pretty interesting. It's you know, if you're familiar with the generative AI world, you know that OpenAI and Anthropic both have this idea of function calling or tool calling. And so all these people are kind of running around implementing their own agentic workflows or workflow engines, basically, using that functionality. The problem is that once you implement it, you're sort of tied to that provider. Whereas MCP, the intention of MCP is to sort of decouple that a little bit and add a common abstraction so that as long as your server is MCP compliant or as long as your client is MCP compliant, you can share, right? So if you wrote, if tomorrow somebody puts out a new MCP client, all those clients can use the existing servers. And if somebody puts out a new server, all the clients can make use of that server. That's kind of interesting. Saran. Wow, this is impressive, Stephen. I don't know if it's impressive, but it's been fun. I've learned a lot in the process about MCP, which has been good. Which was the point. That was the point of doing the project. Arkin, hello. How are you? Good to see you again, man. Hope you're doing well. It's been so long since we last saw each other. I know. Holy crap, is it really 2.5 hours? Oh my goodness. What time is it? Oh, it's 11:47. Holy moly. Time has been flying by. Okay, well, in that case, I'm not gonna get the workflows written tonight. Yeah, I'm not gonna get that done tonight. But we did make a lot of progress on getting the final polishes. So really, I just need to write these, huh? Let's see. So we always have to give it a name, which is just going to be lint. And then it's going to run. We need to tell it what it runs on. We're going to run on Ubuntu latest. Then we need to define our steps. In this case, the first step is always checking out the repository. Should be v4 now. We need to set up node. And this actually has a version 4 now too. And I always just do LTS for my GitHub workflows. I always just use the LTS version of Node or .NET. Then we need to install our dependencies. And then we need to lint. Yeah, npm run lint. Excuse me. Ooh, that was a big one. Excuse me. Saran, any weekend project idea, Steven? You mean like a project I want to work on or a project for you? Because my next project idea, well, I have two. My smaller project for fun is going to be a Discord bot. And my larger project is, it's basically the idea, it's very early on in the idea stage, but the idea is basically to create something like Zapier. Yeah, something like Zapier. It's basically like a no-code ETL type system where people can build integrations or ETL jobs and run them on a schedule, but not necessarily have to write code to do it. But it's in the early stages of an idea. Crypto news. That's good, Stephen. Really impressive. Fun for you, I think. If you are putting this public, please provide the link for Git. Oh, yeah. It's public for sure, man. Almost all the code I write, I just make public. You know? I don't know. I don't intend to get rich off of this hobby. I mean, if I did have a project blow up or I built something people would actually pay me for, that would be awesome. Let's see. Crypto, here's the link for the repo there. I just put that in the chat for you if you're interested. Crypto news. How much time you are into this software stuff? A lot, Crypto. I spend a lot of time. Probably from a time versus reward perspective, probably more than what any sane person would spend. I've probably spent anywhere from 1 to 4 hours every day for the last 4 or 5 years. So a lot of time. And I still wouldn't say I would say I'm proficient, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm like a master. Saran, project for me. Saran, I don't know what's your interest or what's your background? How far along are you in your coding journey? Because that kind of depends. Like if you're really early on, try a URL shortener. You know, if you're very early on in your coding journey, a URL shortener is a great project. If you're doing something that's a little bit more complex, how about an automated email reminder tool where you can go in and you can set up reminders for yourself on a schedule and a frequency, and your system will automatically ping you with an email. And maybe you can define the subject of the email and the body of the email. I say that's a more complex project because it's going to involve, you're going to have some sort of queue, and you're going to have some sort of polling service, and you're going to have to deal with recurring jobs, which I think is a little bit more complex from a back-end perspective. Arkin, your excuse is accepted, and bless you. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Loaf, wow, 305 lines changed. Yeah, it's a little misleading, though, honestly, because some of, probably 1,000 or 1,500 of those lines changed came because I installed some dependencies. And obviously, when you're dealing with a package lock file, lots of stuff gets moved around. So there's some unfair credit there. Chatan, hello. Crypto News, thank you for the link. Of course, man, anytime. Delta Dirac, are you AI engineering? I don't do like I don't build models or train models or anything like that. I primarily just do web development related stuff, and most of the interaction that I've had with AI related technologies has been more about using models from the foundation model providers like Anthropic or OpenAI via their APIs. So hopefully at some point this year I'll get around to doing a little bit of fine tuning on some open source models. I've been reading this book that I bought this book a few months ago, and I've been slowly trying to work my way through it. There's just only so many hours in the day. But my hope is to level up my skills and knowledge a little bit more there. Voldy, yes. And yeah, professionally, I work as a quality engineer. Professionally is what I do for my day job. Chiton, I've also planned 3 projects. One, it's Gen AI tools, which a user can use. AI tools integrated with API via JWT token. And 2, video streaming application, mainly focus on earthly videos. Yeah, I think we talked about number 2, didn't we? The other day, me and you, we talked about number 2, which I think sounds pretty cool. But yeah, that sounds great, man. I think it's great to have projects that you're ambitious about. Saran, thanks, Steven. Where are you from? I'm from Kansas in the United States. If you know where Kansas City is, that's the closest big city to me, is Kansas City. Chiton, third project is a social media application, which is based on your thoughts, just text-based application similar to Quora, but only text-based. Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I still think I don't mean to show this off. I don't mean to brag about myself, but I still really like this convex idea that I had. So this was basically like a Twitter clone that I built, and the idea was to have a very similar experience to something like Twitter, but to support long form and short form, right? So you could write, small little messages like this, right? You could like it, and you could reply to it, but to support Markdown, right? So you could write longer form formatted content. So if you wanted to write, like I've had people come in and write, like this guy, right? He wrote like a long form blog post like this. Or I guess it's not really a blog post, but more of like a long form post. Like I would love to see this type of experience in one of the big social platforms. This is by far one of the projects I built that I had the most fun building, for sure. What time is it in Kansas? I'm from Germany. It's 6:55 here. It is 11:56 p.m. where I am. Yep, close to midnight. Yep, I'm probably going to stream for another 15-ish minutes. I'm going to take us to 3 hours even on the stream, and then probably go to bed. Saran, thanks, Steven. I'm from Bangalore, India. Nice. We've had actually quite a few people from India stop by the stream, Saran, so I appreciate you stopping by and chatting with us. It's very kind of you. I honestly, every time I stream, I expect nobody to show up, Most of the time, I just expect to be streaming to myself, sitting in a room, talking all by myself. So it's always nice when people show up to interact with. It makes it much easier. And it makes it much more fun when you actually have people to talk to. Name. See if Copilot got this right. Yep. I want to do that, but I just need to run npm format. And then This is going to be very similar. Just npm run test. By test disable watch. How do I disable watch? So if I do npm run test, I think by default by test runs this in watch mode. So if I do npm run test dash dash watch, what happens? Oh, that didn't work. So how do you disable it on the command line? Oh. Package JSON. Let's see, test CI. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to just run it once. Belit how to said hi. Hello, Belit. Eloquence. I don't know you, but you seem to be a nice guy. I root for you to be successful as much as you hope for. Well, that's very kind, man. I always actually, it's funny you say I root for you, because one of my favorite things to do on social media, like TikTok and Twitter and stuff, whenever I see content that I really enjoy, I always go into their comments and I'll type, I'm rooting for you. Because I really am. Like, I want everybody to win. You know, even in real life, like even for you guys, whatever it is you guys are wanting out of your lives, you know, I'm rooting for y'all. So that's very kind of you to reciprocate. Belit, you're from Ethiopia. Nice. Ethiopia produces some good coffee. It's not for everybody, though. It's a little floral. Some people don't like the floral notes. Let's see. Okay. One thing, I don't know, do I have enough time? I said I was going to stream till the 3-hour mark. Have you guys heard of, there's like a GitHub Actions test. There's a way to test your GitHub Actions locally. It's this thing, it's called Act. And I've always wanted to try it. And so maybe tonight will be the night. Actually, the way I found out about this was there's this other YouTuber. His name is WebDevCody. And he made a video about it. Let's see. Test GitHub Actions. Right here.
Terra is the IT painkiller. Remote monitoring and management.
Nope, this is not it. Let's see where it is.
So when you're building out softwares or websites,
This is where I learned about it. So you should definitely go give WebDevCody a subscription. Or subscribe. Subscribe. You should subscribe to WebDevCody's channel. And then you guys should take a look at this because it looks very cool. And I'm going to see if I can make this work. Let's see. Please look at Act User Guide for more documentation. Let's see, how does it work? Let's see, installation. Do we want to install it with WinGit? Yeah, let's install it with WinGit. Chiton, I really like your project, Convex. It's similar to mine, but the thing is, it's thoughts based, and also you can also share your problems completely anonymous, and your profile will be hidden for privacy. I think that's cool, Chiton. I think that's I think the idea of having a place that's anonymous is interesting. I also, you know, with anonymity always comes the risk of people doing things, you know, that you might not like, but that's the internet, you know. So I think that's awesome, man. You should definitely build it. I also thought that user posts will be verified through sentimental analysis to determine if it's informative or a random time pass quote, or maybe if it was abusive content. Oh, that's interesting. So like use an LLM, like send the post. I don't know. That might cost you money though, right? Because you'd have to pay for the LLM to do the sentiment analysis. Or are there other tools you're thinking of using for the sentiment analysis? Okay. We are going to try to test our GitHub Actions locally. Let's see if we can get this working before the end of the... Alright, so we've got WinGit. Alright, usage. So do you literally just type act and it picks up your workflow? So he CDs in and then he just types. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's try it. Okay, cool. This is way simpler than I thought it was going to be. Oh, whoops, Docker's not. I need to start up Docker. I don't know if my computer is going to be able to take this Docker running plus OBS. If the stream goes down, you know why. Bye, Loaf. See you, man. Chiton, for sentiment analysis, Dockerizing an Ollama LLM like Llama will help me to build zero-cost app. That's why I've asked how to Dockerize an Ollama model. Oh, yeah, I do remember. Yeah, 100%. Yep, you can totally do that. Ollama has they already have a Docker container, and then you just need to write an entry point and override the entry point, and then on the entry point, when you boot up the container, just pull down whatever model you're going to use, and it'll be good. Seuss, nice question. Very random, and you also spelled my name incorrectly, so your question doesn't get answered. Suas, what do you think about creating a library that makes Ollama compliant with MCP? Well, I think I guess, Suhas, I don't think that's necessary, because what you'd want to build is you'd want to build an MCP client that talks to Ollama, and I think there's one out there. right, well. Looks like Seuss is going to keep it up. And we're just going to time Seuss out. Have a nice day, Seuss. Alright, let's see if we can get this working now. Say act-l. Alright, we still don't have Docker running. Why not? No, we have Docker running. So what's it telling us here? Unable to read workflow publish file. Oh, so it's the... Okay, well, that makes more sense. I should read the error message, shouldn't I? Let's just remove that workflow for the moment. You should always read error messages. Don't just skim them. Richard, how do you customize the terminal to look like this? So Richard, it depends on what you're working with. Are you working with Windows and do you work with PowerShell? If you work with Windows and you work with PowerShell, then you're going to want to check out Oh My Posh. This is going to be your helpful starting place. If you work on a Linux machine or you work on a Mac, then you're probably going to want to use ZSH. And then you're probably then going to want to check out Oh My ZSH. Suhas, I should join more of your streams to just decrease your productivity. Well, I mean, to be fair, some of those lines changed are just adding dependencies. So you should take it with a grain of salt, you know. Disable read line. Richard, thanks for this. Of course, yeah, man. Hopefully that helps you. And I should also say, if you are interested in either of those, I have both of my Oh My Posh theme as well as my Oh My ZSH theme. I have both of those up on my GitHub in my gist. So if you get to a point where you want to look at somebody else's, just let me know. I'll be happy to send them to you. Also, Suhas, something about the line counter is I can't stand right now that the line is running off the side of the screen. It's really bothering me. Yeah, it's really bothering me. So I think I'm gonna redo the layout. I think I'm gonna put them on separate lines or something to give me more. That way I'll use more space horizontally always, but then I'll have more space. Or no, I'll use more space vertically, but then I'll have more space as the number of lines grows. Not that I usually write 3,000 lines of changes each stream. That's kind of a rarity for me. Okay, act-l. There we go. That's what we wanted. So then how do I run it? Act-in. Maybe I just need to type, there we go. Okay, act, so act and then event name to run. If no event name passed, it will default to on push. If action handles only one event, it will be used as default. Okay. So act pull request medium, I guess. So I guess it's doing something right now. Suha, send me git link. I will fix it. Is it in Python? I'm new to writing libraries. Do you think I can write one? Is it easy? So Suhas, the line counter, I have it right now in a PowerShell script, and then I also have it in a npm package that's up on npm. But I don't mind. I don't mind fixing it myself. So I'm new to writing libraries. You can definitely write a library. For sure, man. You can do it. It takes you gotta, like, if you're gonna write a Python package, you have to do a little bit of work to figure out how you go about, like, packaging it and publishing it. But you can definitely do it for sure. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay, there's a lot happening here. So I guess the pull request format succeeded and lint succeeded. Oh man, I can hear my machine is under load. Trend live. How do I become productive on reading errors and understanding quickly the root cause? That just is, I mean, there's not really like a straightforward, easy way to just say this is how you do it. You become productive and good at reading errors by encountering a lot of errors. So write a lot of code, make a lot of mistakes, and you'll get good at it. Which I know is not very helpful, but it's just, honestly, it's the truth. Like the more TypeScript code you wrote, like TypeScript errors are notoriously verbose and unhelpful, and so the more time you encounter TypeScript errors, the better you will get at parsing those errors and understanding them. Python, I feel like Python errors are pretty terrible a lot of times. See, it said error, job lint failed. So I wonder why. Let's see, cannot find module package.json. Huh. Wow, you'll need 75 gigabytes of free disk space if you want to use the large image. That's crazy. I'm not sure why my linting thing failed. But I think I have a working workflow now here. So we check it out. Set up node. All right, that's good enough for tonight, I think. Let's see, git add, git commit, add pull request workflow. There we go. And then we just have one more workflow to write, which is the publishing workflow. And then we'll be good. Trend Live. I'm DevOps and mostly cloud engineer, but I like what you're doing. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that, Trend Live. And I appreciate my DevOps people, man. You know? So that's awesome. Abu, total lines changed 3,000. Yeah, but like, I don't want to fool you because a large number of those lines changed, I think, came from adding Prettier and ESLint as dependencies, which I think caused my package lock file to have a lot of diffs in it. So take it for what it's worth, you know. I wrote a lot of test code too. I wrote a lot of test code tonight. All right, well, this is very cool. You guys, if you guys write a lot of GitHub actions, you guys definitely need to check out this tool. It's called Act. I'm gonna star this. How do I star? There we go. Star. I'm actually gonna post this in my Discord because I think some people would enjoy it like I did. Let's see, coding. This is a pretty nifty tool if you work with GitHub Actions a lot. All right. Trend Live, what Git strategy you use in your environment? I'm not sure I know what you mean by Git strategy. Do you mean like trunk-based development? Is that what you're kind of referring to, Trend Live? That is that what you mean by strategy? In my day job, they do, or at my work, they just use feature branching. They don't do trunk-based development. In my own workflows, it's primarily it really doesn't matter because it's just one person. It's just one one person. Yeah, it's just one person working on them. But I'll often, if in my own personal workflow, I will usually follow a feature branch approach to myself. Not that there's anything wrong with trunk-based development. I don't have need for it myself. I know a lot of people are big advocates of it. I see a lot of people on LinkedIn posting about it. like GitHub flow and Git flow. Yeah, I guess you're just talking about how you manage your branches. I mean, for me personally, if I have a feature or a fix I need to do, I just check out a branch, make the changes, PR it, merge it into main. But I'm just a one-man band, so there doesn't need to be a lot of fuss over it. Abu, is it your office time? Nope. It is time for me to get some sleep because I gotta be up in a few hours to start work. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna head to bed. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me this evening. I know it's a longer one, but I appreciate you guys being here. Obviously, if you're new here, usually I don't stream this late at night. Usually I stream during the day. So if you see me around, you're obviously always welcome to stop in. If you want to subscribe, great. If you want to join our Discord, there's a link. I'll actually put that in the chat. There you go. There's a Discord you can join if you're interested. And then otherwise, I'll probably see you guys in the comments of the video or short. All right, y'all. You guys have a good night. I'll talk to y'all later. Sleep well. Bye, Trend. Bye, Suhas. Bye, Abu. Bye, Arkin. See you, Richard, if you're still here. Bye, Voldy. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys. Bye.